Good morning, guys. It's James from Advanced In-Car Technologies. Today we're just going to do a quick video for you to how to remove a radio in the Transporter T6. So whether it's the T6 Transporter, the Beach California, Caravelle, they all have the same similar setup here with the trim surrounding the radio. This is the very basic radio, and then you've got the higher levels of touchscreen and navigation. So good old trusty trim tool here. We always use the angled, wide-angled one here, just because you can get that sort of purchase underneath the trim. So be careful, because even though it looks nice and shiny, you can easily break some of this stuff. So we always go in at a corner. So I'm going to go in at this corner here just so the camera can see. You can go in underneath. Once you've got your fingers underneath here, you can just prise it up a little bit here. It is quite tight at first, and then what you can do is you can work your way along. Now I've just used a combination of my fingers underneath here and the trim tool. Some of them come out easier, some of them are a little bit difficult and are really located well along the clips here. So once you've done this bit, you can use the trim tool all the way along the top and along the bottom. And it is important that you use your trim tool as well as your hands, because you can, with your hands, you know how much pressure to apply. Once you've done that, some of these models, so let's have a look at this one here. Some of these models here will have the cigarette lighter. The cigarette lighter or the comfort socket is in here, and you have to be careful because it does jut down on top of this top air vent here. So what we're going to do is just get this bit of trim out like so. Now the only thing that stops this bit of trim coming out is the angle of the air vent. So as I take it out, I'm sort of giving it a bit of a wiggle, and as I turn it round, you've got the angle there, and of course this creates that seal on both the air vents. But on the driver's side one, normally there's a cigarette lighter on here, and it does then jut down into here, so you have to give it a bit of a wiggle and adjustment up there. Okay, so this is applicable to the non-nav and the navigation radio units. As you can see here, this is the basic non-nav. Okay, so once you've taken the surround off, we've got 4 torque screws, either a T20 or T25. Ideal to have both of them handy, because we've been caught out a few times. This particular one is a T20, so be very, very careful. Make sure that you keep the head of the screwdriver on the actual screw, because if that was to slip off, you could easily then scratch your surround, or at very worst you could also do some damage to the screen. So I always keep my hand and fingers over the screw. Once you've undone that, be ever so careful not to drop it down into the void, because that's going to create a rattle in yours or your customer's vehicle. So let's get all of those undone. Now the other tool that I'm going to need is a little flat screwdriver, and that is just really useful to show you how to get the antenna bits out the back of the radio. So sometimes these are quite tight. Don't worry, there's nothing else holding it in, it is just tight. So what we do is we just lift the radio out, and be very careful. There's no harm in getting a blanket or a towel at this point, because what you're going to do is you have to be very careful. We've got some really sharp edges on this radio here, and what you need to do, until I unplug it, I've got limited movement on the radio. So on the back here, and I'll show you in a second, is the main quad lock connector, and this has a little thumb piece. So I'm going to turn it round, and this little thumb piece here, you just push together and twist the slide up, and this locking mechanism then slides up, and you can pop it out the back of the radio, and that's the main power microphone and video connections in, like so. So then as we turn the radio over, because it gives us a bit more room to play with, we can put our hand behind so that we're not scratching any of the dashboard, and you can get a little screwdriver like this, a little flat bladed screwdriver, because this is absolutely perfect for this kind of thing. So let's just push those back round. Let's just twist that back round like so. Just one second. There we go. So once you've depressed your little lever here, as I said, be careful with these, because what you can do is you can just push it down. You can feel it push down. Once you've pushed it down, you can just use the screwdriver to pull it off. And be very careful, because these are really important and they do break easily. So what we do is we just release this next one, and once we've done that, we can just release that there. If the aerial is under a little bit of pressure, so let's just move that over like so, we can just depress this little lug. Now you might be able to see in the picture, but I've just got somebody to hold the radio because this is not the normal position that we release the radios from. Now these are called HST connectors, and these ones here are the ones that will do your USB, your music, and all the other bits and pieces, as well as other interface sockets. So you depress the little lug with a little fine screwdriver. You can just get in between here, because if you're not careful you could do some damage to these and they don't fit back in properly. Once you've done that, that will then just slide out like so, and then I'll just grab the radio. Once you've released, you can then look at the back of the radio and you've got your 4 connections, so DAB, double FM, and then you've got your media as well. And other radios will have different colour connectors on there, but this is only the basic entry level. So this is how to remove the nav and non-nav versions of the Volkswagen T6 radio. Once you've put that aside somewhere safely, you can then go about and do what you need to do. This instance we're actually fitting a reversing camera, so there'll be another video online to show you about what we've done with this vehicle. So this is a 2018 model, goes all the way back to the earlier 2015, I think, 2000 T6 models, all of them across the range, and the radios, and how to remove it. So if you want any more information, get in touch with us. It's Advanced In-Car Technologies, and the website is www.advanced-incar.co.uk. Thanks for putting up with my stinky cold, and have a good day.